Good morning, everyone. If you're new here, my name's Arwen. I'm a pediatric occupational therapist, and today is September 14th. It is exactly 1 week until my birthday, so I thought in celebration I would spend the week with you guys, let you follow along with me. If you have been here for a while, 2 years ago, I decided to vlog the entire month of my birthday before I turned 30, which is crazy that that was 2 years ago. Now you know how old I am. But I thought I would do the same thing today and this week. It's about 8:20. I've got my first telehealth session in about 10 minutes. I'm already ready, so let's head on back to the office, shall we? Let's go to work. That is a tough commute right there. Tough commute. So I've got 3 telehealth sessions and then I have an in-person evaluation this afternoon. So I will bring you along as much as possible. I'm very excited to spend the week with y'all. It's gonna be a mixture of just some vlogging and some OT stuff. I've got hopefully some good videos planned for y'all this week. I'm very excited, so stick around. Today I'm gonna be talking about renewing my license because it is my birthday month, so that means it's time for me to renew my license. So I thought I'd go over that experience with y'all. Okay, I'll see you after the first visit. Just finished up my first virtual visit and I am typing the note right now. As I said before, I'm going to talk about renewing my occupational therapy license, which you must do every 2 years, and it's due during your birthday month. So I actually already renewed it. I tried to renew it early. Still had to do a couple of extra steps, but there are some additional requirements that were not in place the last time I renewed 2 years ago. So I did want to go over those and kind of talk and reflect about them because they are new requirements that may or may not be necessary. So I'm going to finish up this note and then go grab some coffee. And I've also got to pack up this assessment down here. You don't want to see the office. This room is a mess. But I've got to pack up my assessment because I'm taking it to do a home evaluation this afternoon. So I've got to get that ready. But I'll probably check in with y'all this afternoon after that evaluation and we'll be able to talk about the license renewal process. So what was a couple minutes for you was a very long day for myself. I'm finally home. We can sit down and have this chat about renewing and continuing to uphold your occupational therapy license. Like I said at the beginning, it is my birthday month, so woohoo! I'm not vain at all by celebrating by making YouTube videos. Now I wanted to make this video just to give you an idea of ongoing requirements that you need to consider if you are going to pursue the path of becoming an occupational therapist, or if you're an OT and you've forgotten, or you just want to have fun and think about all the lovely things you have to do to continue to have this job, you can watch this video. The other thing that I wanted to address was 2 of the new requirements that popped up this year that were not required in the past. There is a weird sound happening outside, so I apologize if you hear some nature sounds. This is my second time renewing my occupational therapy license, and there are 2 new requirements. One including being fingerprinted. Now to my understanding, you only have to get fingerprinted 1 time. I will not have to do that every single year. It would be really nice if all the fingerprints that I've ever done could just go into one system. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that. I've been fingerprinted many times for many different jobs, for many different reasons, and they never seem to co-communicate. So government, if you could get on that, that would be great. The other new requirement is, and I'm going to read it verbatim because I don't want to get it wrong, is a human trafficking prevention training that is hosted by SOAR to Health and Wellness. Now this is actually a new Health and Human Services requirement for all medical professionals, I believe, including dentists, nurses, speech therapists, occupational therapists, so anyone that is coming into contact with patients that could be at risk for human trafficking. We're supposed to be a barrier to, or stopping it in some way. It took me about 2.5 hours to complete it. I think it says it's only 1 hour, but that's a lie if you go through. It's one of those kind of really boring trainings that you just got to sit through and grit your teeth. So not the best, but I mean, it's a government training, so it is what it is. I'm not sure how beneficial it will be, if it will actually stop the continuation of human trafficking that is very prolific according to the data that we do have. People that are trafficked come into contact with medical professionals very, very frequently. So I'm not sure if it'll make a difference. It could have been a waste of time. But nonetheless, it is a requirement and I completed it. The only thing was, it was required as of September 1st. And unfortunately, I was not able to complete all the other requirements before that date, or else I could have renewed my license without doing that requirement this year. But nonetheless, I completed it, checked that off the box. So the 2 new requirements this year were 1, fingerprinting, 2, the prevention of human trafficking training. Now with those aside, the other standard requirements are to complete the renewal process by paying them $248, by completing at least 24 hours of continuing education credits. I believe, if I check my tracker, I actually got over 40 hours of continuing education over the past 2 years. Those included a Vanderkoy lectureship that I went to at my alma mater, TWU, which I actually vlogged. So if you want to go back and check that out and see what that continuing ed looked like, you are more than welcome to do that. I had a level 1 fieldwork student. I took a 2-day course on torticollis and plagiocephaly, which I also made a video about. So if you want to check that out, I'll put it below. And the last most recent thing I did this past January was take a pediatric feeding course. That was a 2-day course that was actually hosted by my employer, so that was really great. So those are the courses that I took to uphold my continuing education credits that are required. Everyone does it differently. I prefer in-person trainings. I like the social aspect. I like to get a free day off of work. So I prefer in-person. You can do many of the trainings online. I believe only a certain amount are allowed to be completed online. And I'm not going to go into too much specifics about the continuing education requirements. There's different categories that you are able to obtain the hours through, but you can go into that in more detail on your own. I'm not going to sit here and go through that. And the final step in renewing the license is completing what is called the Jurisprudence exam, which is basically a 20-question open book test that you have to complete that just ensures that you are reminded and aware and up to date on all of the rules and regulations that are required for being an occupational therapist. And this pertains to your state in general. Every state is going to have different rules, regulations, requirements for upholding an occupational therapy license, and different guidelines and regulations in general for the practice of occupational therapy. It does differ from state to state, and if you do want to get a license in another state, you have to complete this entire process for every individual state. So as you can see, there are a lot of requirements and steps to renew your license. I know it only happens every 2 years, but it is something you have to be cognizant of throughout those 2 years, because you do need to make sure that you have enough continuing education credits. You don't want to be rushing last minute to try and obtain all the credits, and then you don't get everything submitted on time. Everything is done online. You submit all of your proof of attendance. You complete the jurisprudence and upload everything online. It's very simple. And it is very important to keep records of everything, because you can get audited. There is always the threat or the possibility of being audited, where they will go through and make sure that you actually were present and you did attend and complete all those courses that you said that you did. So recommendation to please keep everything organized, keep a copy and record of everything that you, keep a record and copy of all of the courses and trainings that you attend. I have an Excel spreadsheet that I use to track, and I have folders with all the electronic copies of the attendance and proof and records and all of that. So stay organized how you need, but I definitely would recommend that. So there you have it. Those are the requirements for renewing an occupational therapy license. Again, I wanted to share this information with you because there is there's quite a bit of a monetary expense. Like I said, the actual renewal of the license cost $248. My fingerprint cost almost $50, which I had to pay for myself. And then the additional costs that come along with the license are paying for these courses. Some of these courses and trainings are very expensive. If you're lucky, your employer will cover some of those costs or host, like mine did, their own trainings that will count towards this. But it is something that you need to factor in and you need to consider as part of your budget and scheduling and maintaining. So I wanted to throw that out there that this is another aspect of being a licensed professional, a licensed medical professional that maybe you weren't aware of, or maybe you didn't know about, or maybe you try to avoid thinking about as a therapist because it's just a lot of work and effort. But hopefully it won't be if you take the steps to stay organized and track all of your continuing ed and make it fun. I always try and use these requirements as opportunities for new experiences, for actually really learning and gaining new knowledge and, you know, engaging with my peers and actually trying to learn new things. I know everyone sees it different, but I still really enjoy learning new things. And, you know, as an occupational therapist, you should be a lifelong learner. You're never going to know or learn everything there is to know in our field. So that is how I try to view all of these requirements and steps. But I think that is going to be it for me today. I'm very excited to be vlogging and sharing my week with y'all. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to take you through. Tomorrow, I think we're going to talk about if occupational therapy is worth it. Is this whole thing worth it? All these requirements, the schooling. We're going to talk about the cost of occupational therapy. So I hope you'll stick around for this week. If you're interested in seeing any of those other videos that I talked about, I will link them below. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye. You see them struggle, you see them fail. If you wanna